Painting begins not with form but with liquidity. The image is born in a field where boundaries have not yet hardened. Painting begins not with form but with liquidity. The image is born in a field where boundaries have not yet hardened. To paint is to enter the condition of simultaneity, where marks do not succeed one another but coexist in a continuous negotiation of matter. Wet into wet is not a technique but an ontology. It affirms that perception itself is fluid and that all form is provisional until fixed by cessation. A stroke gains truth not by isolation but by its capacity to merge, to be altered, and to alter what surrounds it. The painter refuses fluidity, chooses fragmentation. The painter who accepts it enters the field of continuous correction. There is no note, there are only relations between notes. There is no note, there are only relations between notes. Every color, value, and intensity exists only as a function of its difference from others. Seeing is not the apprehension of objects, but the calibration of relationships. A note becomes true only when confirmed by the testimony of neighboring notes. The eye does not judge in isolation, it convenes a tribunal of comparisons. Truth in painting is not located in the mark itself, but in the coherence of the systems it inhabits. To see rightly is to compare continuously. The painter must look harder at what is not being painted, for truth lies in the relation, not the fixation. Every judgment is categorical. No, I'm not just reading, I'm talking shit to people that ask stupid questions. Do you ever think about what is it he's saying? Is he reading regardless of content? I'm just talking. Is he reading? What book is he reading? Hi, hello. I'm reading and then also just seeing how many morons are on here. If you want to buy some art, check out my website, zukagallery.com. I'm also doing commercials on here to you losers. Complexity is reduced not by simplification of the world, but by isolation of variables within it. You see, the trained eye partitions reality into sets, and within each set discovers order. The trained eye partitions reality into sets, and within each set discovers order. The trained eye partitions reality into sets, and within each set discovers order. The ensemble precedes the part. The whole is the condition for any local truth. The painting is not a collection of parts, but a total field of interdependence. Every note must justify itself before the totality. The failure of a painting is the failure of integration, not of individual execution. The weakest note reveals instability of the whole. The eye must oscillate between part and whole until no contradiction remains. Are you just reading? All structure is relational. No angle is correct in itself. Vertical is the sovereign reference, the axis against which all deviation is measured. Every angle derives its truth from its correspondence to the fixed and the collective. Form emerges not from outline, but from the agreement of directional relations. Hi, hello, I'm an idiot. Just type hi. Just type hi, everyone. Put hi. Said hi. Yeah, I put said high. Beauty arises when angles interpret the harmonious sets, forming invisible geometries of coherence. Visibility is not absolute. It is distributed across degrees of emergence and disappearance. An edge exists only where contrast asserts difference. Without contrast, form dissolves. An edge exists only where contrast asserts difference. Without contrast, form dissolves. Hi, my name is Ludovico. Awesome. Just tell me all the other people's names too that you know. To articulate everything is to destroy atmosphere. To lose selectively is to create mystery. The painting breathes through alternations of clarity and obscurity. The strongest forms are those that know where to vanish. Composition is the orchestration of forces, not the arrangement of objects. The eye is guided by points of intensity that anchor perception across the field. These points generate invisible lines, forming the arabesque, the hidden architecture of vision. The masses organize themselves around these forces. They do not precede them. The painting succeeds when these forces produce movements without confusion. The painter must learn to see without naming. Objects are illusions imposed on distributions of color and value. Objects are illusions imposed upon distributions of color and value. The naive eye does not deny knowledge, it suspends it to recover vision. The world is not made of things, but of tonal and chromatic events. Mastery lies in rendering these events, not in reorganizing their causes. Painting is not illustration, but orchestration. Painting is not illustration, but orchestration. Color relations are to vision what harmony is to sound. The subject is incidental, the relational field is essential. The highest painting transcends representation and enters pure visual music. Beauty arises when relations resonate beyond their descriptive function. Beauty arises when relations resonate beyond their descriptive function. There is only one problem in painting, the correct placement of color-value relations. All other problems are derivatives of the primary condition. Mastery is not knowledge of things, but of control of relationships. Nature is not to be copied, but translated into relational structures. The painting who masters relations masters the visible world.